So we will talk about the mock, okay? So you can see that I have put the content here, but again, the content here doesn't mean that the final exams is only having these topics. You know that the syllabus is a lot more than this. It's just that I cannot put everything into your mock. Okay, so make sure you revise for everything since what I have taught in day 1 up to the last few weeks. Okay, make sure you have all those IGCSE topic revised. Okay, those are not put into the revision booklet I gave you a few weeks ago, so you have to go back to all the topics. For example, the sequence, compound inequalities, quadratic inequalities, transformations, and all those. Okay, so make sure you revise for all those. So let's have a look at MC questions first. Okay, the MC questions 1, it says which of the following are factors of it. Okay, factors, so meanings something times something. So in here you can take out the common factor first. You got m and n, then you got this left, and by looking at this is your a squared minus b squared methods. So you got your m minus n, m plus n. So remember those 3 identities. So therefore these are all factors. So let's look at it. So you got it, this one, you got this one, and you got this one. So all of these are your factors, so therefore the answer is D. So whenever you see the questions asking you which of the following are the factors or are not, all you have to do is factorize this here. So the greatest integer satisfies the inequalities is, so meaning that you have to solve these inequalities and find which is the greatest integer that is satisfying. Okay, so in here, first of all, times the things into your bracket. 22 minus 11x, and do not change the symbols. So put all the x on one side and the numbers on the other side and simplify that. So you can see the symbols haven't changed, it's still greater or equals to. And then divide this negative 17. When you divide negative 17, when you divide a negative number, you can see that the sign change. So x is smaller or equals to -1. So the greatest integer that satisfies this one will be your -1, because -1 is included as well, equals. So convert this to the binary number. So binary number is numbers that with 1 and 0 only, and it is related to 2 to the power of something. So all you have to do is list them out. Okay. Wait a second. So here you can see that there's a 5, and then some of you say 5 is not 2 to the power of something, but the 5 you can write it as 4 plus 1. Then it will be 2 to the power of 2, and then 2 to the power of 0, because 2 to the power of 0 is 1. So in this case here, once you got this, all you have to do is list out the whole thing. So make sure if you got 2 to the power of 5, you put a 1 on there. If you don't have it, put 0. So according to 2 to the power of 5, 2 to the power of 4, and then 3, 2, 1, 0. Write it all out, okay? Do not miss out any of those. You got 2 to the power of 3, so it's a 1. You got 2 to the power of 2, so it's 1. You do not have 2 to the power of 1, so there's nothing. You got 2 to the power of 0, so you got 1. And then now all you have to do is put them all down. 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. And then with the base 2 here, so look for the answer, you will have B. Okay, so this is how you convert it to the binary number. And of course, it can always be binary to denary, denary to binary. So make sure you know how to do it. Okay, so if it's a binary number, such as 100, if it asks you to change it to binary, then you know you have to use your LCM. So you have to do all this. Okay, so always look at what information they gave you, which method you have to use. So then it comes to this indices questions. So you got those negative and 0. So always start with the 0 first. Okay, x minus 3 and 0 is always 1. So x to the power of minus 3, x squared y. Okay, so you got minus 3, and you can either change it to the fractions to the bottom, or what you can do is, this is actually division, you just do minus 2 and then do y, and then you get x minus 5 and then y, and therefore it will be 1 and then x5 to the power of y. Okay, so you can do that and you'll find that the answer is D. So for the ones who forgot, this is actually equals to this, and then y to the power of 0 is equals to 1. Okay, so some of you still can't remember this, so just memorize those indices rule, because this type of questions is quite straightforward. Okay, you don't really have to think much. All you have to do is look at the information. You got to the power of 0, then change it to 1. You got negative, change it to a fraction. If you got those fractional indices, change it to square roots. Okay, then we come to question 5. Question 5 is the bearing questions. One of the questions you're weak at, because by looking at the chapter test, quite a lot of you didn't do well in this one. And they're asking you to find the true bearing of C from B. So true bearing. Always 3 digits, and then it starts from your n. So all the way to whatever you got. So from of C from B. So meaning that they're looking for this here. Okay, so they're all looking for this, but we can start off with something in A first. You can see that most of the information is there, so we know we have to start somewhere there. Okay. Okay, so let's look at it. If I use this here, this one will be 180. So therefore, it means that I need to know this little part here. Let's call it y. So this y here, we have to know about it. And by looking at it, we know that we can use the too big. So because in A here you got a lot of information, if we do this, you can see that okay, I call this x. X is equals to 34 plus y. Why is that? What am I using here? Using my alternate angles and parallel lines. I mean, this is not really the long questions. You don't really need to write all this, but just for you to have a look. So I know this, and the thing is, I don't know what's x. But if you look carefully, this is a straight line. So everything on here is 180. So x plus 60 plus 52 equals 180. Why is that? Because of adjacent angles on straight line. So therefore, your x is 68. And once you got your x here, 68, you can find your y. Y is 34. And we are saying that we want the true bearing of C from B. So this whole thing here. So therefore, y plus 180 will give you 214, and this is the true bearing of C from B. So 214, the answer is C. Okay, so first of all, look at which bearing they want you to look at, draw it out, and then go for the information you don't have. So I don't have this little part Y here, and then you can see A has a lot of information, so try to link your information from A to your Y, because when you look at C, even though the question says of C, but C here you got no information at all, so therefore you have to try to look for it from your A. Okay, so go back to the notes for this chapter, because I think that quite a lot of you didn't do well in this one. So make sure you understand how to find the true bearing or the complex bearing, and how to find those if it's a word questions. Okay, so question 6 is your percentage. We have been doing quite a lot of simple interest, compound interest before, so let's have a look at this one. So they give you the informations of Bob. He deposit 50,000 in bank A, simple interest rate of 6%. And then another information is he deposit this in bank B, simple interest rate of this. Find the total amount he will receive in 10 years. After 10 years, sorry. So therefore, in bank A, so 50,000 times 6% times 10. This is the simple interest, but it says total amount, so you have to add whatever he put into there as well. And then bank B, 40,000. This time is 7% per year, and then after 10 years, and again you have to plus whatever he puts in originally to find the total amount. So put it into your calculator. You have this, and all you have to do is add up whatever he got in bank A and bank B together, add them up, and then you should get the answer 148000, which is your A. Okay, remember the simple interest formula and the compound formula, which one give you the amount and which one give you the interest only. So you have to either think about if you have to add the principal as well. Okay, so this is the end of your MC. So then we will look at the conventional questions. Okay, so question 7, you can see compound inequality, which is your IGCSE stuff, and in here it's actually the same as how you solve your normal one. It's just that they have two ways. They have both sides. You can see the signs on both sides. All you have to do is whatever you do for left hand side, do the same for right hand side. Quite a lot of you write separately, but we usually write it together. Okay, so please write together. You have the 5 at the bottom in the denominator. You want to get rid of it, you times it. Okay, so minus 10 on the left hand side, right hand side 35, and then you got minus 4, you plus 4 on both sides. Minus 10 plus 4 give you minus 6. 35 plus 4 give you 39, and you got the free x in the middle. You want to divide the 3 to get rid of it, so minus 6 divided by 3 is minus 2, and then you got 39 divided by 3 is 13, so this is the answer. Okay, so compound inequality is easy. All you have to do is make sure you do the same thing for both sides. Okay, and then it comes to this probability. So this one is just the one you have in your textbook. Okay, but again, you have your IGCSE probability. Make sure you know how to do that. Make sure you know how to do your conditional probability. If you forgot, go back to your quiz for the IGCSE ones. Okay, I forgot it's quiz or test, but go back to that one or the worksheets you have. Okay, so for a bar chart, how do you look at it? So let's look at the information, number of students, number of lunchbox orders. So this bar chart number of students is 10, 35, 20, just by looking at here. Okay, and then 15. So then look at the questions. A student is randomly selecting from the group. Find the probability that the selected students order at least 3 boxes. At least, meaning that 3, 4, 5. So total number of students you can find first. Which is your 10 plus 35 plus 20 plus 20 plus 15. So total amount of people is for 100. And then the number of students ordered at least 3 lunchbox. So 20, 20, 15. Because at least, okay, so make sure you look at it. Quite a lot of you just choose this one here, 3, but at least meaning 3, 4, or 5. So 55, so therefore the probability of order at least 3 lunchbox will equals to the number of students ordered at least 3 divided by the total number of students, and you get 11 divided by 20. Okay. So any questions so far? If you got questions, please make sure you ask in that modal. Okay, so here we go to question 9. Question 9 is your standard form questions. Okay, so some of you know how to change the standard form, you know how to do divisions, but the thing is you mix up the dividends and divisor, which one divided by which. So the total mass is this, and then this total mass has a weight of this. Find the total mass, find the mass of a single atom. Okay, so all together have this weight, and finding one only. So therefore, it's supposed to be the weight divided by the total mass. So mass of a single aluminium atom. So some of you were asking why I put this question here. It looks like a chemistry questions, but this is the way they like to ask in IGCSE. And the thing is, it doesn't really matter. It can change to something else. Like it can change to the total amount of to total mass of apples. Okay, is how many grams, and find each of them. So you can always replace the names and make it looks more simple. So here you go, you got this. And the thing is, this question, it didn't really say do not use calculator, okay, but usually in the exams it will. Even it didn't, the thing they want you to do is change the stuff. So meaning that they want you to change all of them into standard form before you do it. Okay, so I'm changing this 26 point something to 2.6. I'm making the number smaller, so therefore this will be the indices of the 10 will be greater. And then here I got the 6 on this, and that is units gram, because later on it wants you to change it to kg. So now I want to keep everything as gram first. So all you have to do is put it into your calculator. Okay, the numbers look ugly, then put it into the calculator. It doesn't really matter. As long as I see you know how to change your stuff, then it's fine. Okay, so you got this, and then after that you want to change it to kg. So changing it to kg, gram is changing to kg. So if you forgot, 1 kg equals 1000 gram. So 1 kg equals 10 to the power of 3 grams. But now I'm changing gram to kg. So therefore you have to think of it differently. So I don't know if you know, k is always meaning 10 to the power of 3. So in here, so you can say 1 times 10 to the power of kg here. So the k is actually this here. So therefore, in order to find your kg from gram to kg, you don't times 1000, you divide by 1000, or you can say times 10 to the minus 3, and it becomes kg. Okay, so now you put it together, you got this 4.4819833889, and then those powers, you just add them up, minus 23 plus minus 3, which is minus 26, and then I can, it says correct to 3 significant figures, so I do that, and then your units. Okay, so make sure you know how to do this kind of standard form questions when it becomes a word problems. Okay, always try to change it to the standard form before you do any calculations, no matter you're using calculator or not, because the marks are given by you showing me that you're not using a calculator. Okay, so all they want is they can see how you change your standard form. So you can see I gave you some questions on this previously, and I have posted the solutions online as well, so please check the IGCSE sets of standard form questions. Okay, so here comes to question 10. Question 10, I'm not asking something very difficult, but this, yes, I know is from your first term, and quite a lot of you forgot about it. You don't even remember how to do your slope formula. Okay, so whenever they ask you to prove whether it's a parallel line, whether it's a perpendicular line, it means that they want you to show the slope. So for parallel, they want you to show the slope equals each other. If it's a perpendicular, it will be slope 1 times slope 2 equals -1. Okay, so in here I have to find my slope. So slope AB. And for slope, quite a lot of you forgot the formula. Some of you find the distance for me. I don't want a distance, I want a slope. And slope should be y1 minus y2 x2 minus x1. So AB here, look at the numbers they gave you. Okay, so if you forgot about this, please go back and revise for your chapter 13, because this is the easiest part already. So you got quite a few formula for this chapter and a lot of information you have to remember, so go back to it. So because you have to show me you know that slope AB doesn't equal to slope CD, explain a little bit. Therefore, AB is not parallel to CD. So when it's not parallel, it means that they can intersect. So it can be somewhat like this, and when it intersect, you have an intersection point. So there is another questions about this if you remember from a previous test from last term. So go back to that and have a look. Okay, 11. It comes to your percentage again. This time it's asked about the depreciations. Depreciations meaning that the price of a product has been decreasing. So Patrick bought a smartwatch for 4,500 3 years ago. The values of the smartwatch depreciate by 20% per year. Find the present values. It means that it decreased by 20% every year. So it's a constant decrease rate. Okay, decrease constant rate. So here 1 minus 20% decrease, and then 3 years, so to the power of 3. So therefore you got 2304 units $. And then it asks you to find the depreciations of the smartwatch in these 3 years. So depreciations of the smartwatch is just meaning that the decrease in values, or the decrease of the values dropped. So from 4,500 to 2304. Finding the difference just. So 2196. So this question is not difficult. It's just that, do you know this term? Okay, so go back and have a look at your chapter 3 percentage. I know that we have been asking about compound interest, simple interest more often in my test or in the form test, but there's other stuff as well. You got your successive percentage change, constant increase rate, and your constant decrease rate, decay factor, growth factor, all those. Please have a look at that again. So, and here it comes this sine, cosine, tangent questions. So in this figure, you got a height of 5.8 for the stands, and then those are the shadows, and they have the angles written there. Find the distance between R and S. Okay, so all the information is drawn on there. So this distance they want to ask, and you know you can't find it because this distance is not in your right angle triangles, and then in here you only have the information of 32 degrees, but this height here they share. So you can see there's actually one triangle and two triangle. So we can start with the yellow one first. Okay, we can start with the yellow one first because we can find QR. We can find this, and then with the red one we can also find this. So if I find those two question mark, I can find my S out by minusing those two. Okay, subtracting those two. So therefore all we have to do is list out the formula. So using tangent, so please make sure you know how to write out your sine, cosine, tangent. So tangent 62 degree equals 5.8 divided by QR. So QR equals 5.8 divided by tangent 62. So this is one of it. And I don't have to calculate the answer here yet because I want to make it more accurate. So I leave it like this first. Do not round it off your number. Okay, so tangent 32 degree equals 5.8 divided by QS. So QS equals 5.8 divided by tangent 32. So my SR here will equal to QS minus QR. So 5.8 divided by tangent 32 minus 5.8 divided by tangent 62. And then you have 6.20 meter, correct to 3 significant figures. Okay, so always look at the information you have, and some of you make it more complicated again. So you can always try to highlight your stuff and go back and have a think about it. So for sine, cosine, tangents, or all those Pythagoras questions, is always if you got two information, two lengths, you can find the third length. One length, one angle, you can find the third length. Two lengths, you can also find the third angles using your sine, cosine, tangent. So make sure you know which line is divided by which one for your sine, cosine, and tangent. So here it comes to the last questions for your mensuration. Okay, so here you can see that in this figure you got a cone, you got a cone, and you got a cylinder. So therefore you have to know how to find the volume of the cylinder and the cone, because the first question asks you to find the volume of the solid. So in order to find the volume of solid, we have to look at it. So we know that the cone is 1/3 times pi times r square, which is your 20 square, and times your height. Okay, I do not have the height of the cone because if you look carefully, we only have the slant height. So all we have to do is using a Pythagoras theorem. So let this as h. So make sure you write this sentence. If you want to let the unknown, tell me which unknown you're talking about. So h equals 30 square minus 20 square. So keep it as this, because this is not the final answer. Do not try to round off your values. And then the volume of the cylinder, pi r squared, and times the height. And put it all into your calculator. You got this. And it says correct to 3 significant figures. So this is your A. And then B, find the total surface area of the solid. Okay, total surface area of the solid, meaning the surrounding part. So here we got two of them. The cone, you got a curved surface area. And do we have the base? Well, the base, because this solid here, this cone is stick to the cylinder, so the base is actually not included because it's overlapped and that area is not covered. Okay, this is not part of it. Okay, so therefore for the cone we only need to know the curved surface area. So for a curved surface area of a cone is pi r l. So we can write out first pi r l. You got all those information, and then here it comes to this cylinder shape. So cylinder shape is actually talking about this and this. Okay, so it's actually the curved surface. It's actually the rectangle, and this length here is the circumference of the circle. Okay, so if you don't know how to do it, try to roll your paper at that timing. Roll your paper and then you unfold it. You realize it's just a rectangle, and then the length will just be the circumference. So which is your 2 pi r times the height. And then don't forget you got a base and the top. So the base and the top is just your pi r square. Pi r square. And then you got your top and base, so you times 2. But the thing is, just now I said, this part is overlapped with the cone and it's not part of your surface area, because total surface area, we're talking about the area that touch the air. This cone and the circular cylinder is stick together, so that part, this red part here is not in contact with any air. So you have to minus this here, this shape here. So this is pi r square of that cone. Okay, so now you just put everything into your calculator and you will get 9,270 cm square, correct to three significant figures. So the mock, everyone passing the mock, and the thing is, some of you realize your score is about the total score for this mock is 40. Some of you are near that 20 or 20 something. So if you're near there, it means that one or two of the questions you are not doing well, and it means that you maybe forgot about that topic. Remember, for your maths final, you got quite a lot of topics, so try to do all those topics. Go back to the ones you don't know. If you got questions about this mock, please ask.